Yes, it's your boy Gordy, and this is Flow Talk, Season 2, Episode 16. I got my man Christian Moreno with me. What's going on, brother? How are you? It's been a while, man. Absolutely. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming. I'm excited for this episode. I'm excited. Been a little love lately with Christian Moreno, huh?
Yeah, man. I since connecting, man. I mean, we've already done a lot. I feel like.
Yeah, make sure the mic is close to your mouth so we can hear you.
Oh, all right.
So yeah, no, absolutely. We've done a lot since connecting. What you been up to lately, though? It's been a few weeks since.
Yeah, man. It's been all about the side quests. I mean, the summer I feel like is always a time of year that kind of blows by, and July was no different in that. A lot of celebrating, a lot of planning for kind of the rest of the year as it's coming on very quickly. In terms of music, we had that session with New Hampshire Public Radio.
Yes.
That just so much love from that, and that was such a happy little surprise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a first.
It was stressful getting there, and preparing for it. But after we did it, we're like, yo, that was crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, in the vibe in the studio was all love.
Yeah.
Shout out to New Hampshire Public Radio.
Emily Quirk and that family over there. Thank you very much. We'll definitely be talking soon because I got a couple ideas I want to run by y'all. But yeah, thank you for having us. You were incredible.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. I mean, really, the opportunity was pretty crazy. And honestly, that was really big for me because this last fall we lost my grandfather.
Sorry to hear that. And
he was the cornerstone of everything music for me. I'm kind of a dabbler. I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. My three core things that I'm especially passionate about are music, food, and clothing. Kind of my holy trinity.
Yeah.
But so we lost him this last fall, and he was he was a killer musician. He had a band way back in the day, Jacques and the Jaguars.
Okay.
He opened up for the Beach Boys.
Okay.
And then even up until the last couple of years of his life, I mean, he was DJing and stuff at gigs still, and just absolutely loving the environment and the energy.
Yeah, never let up, man. Didn't let his age determine what he wanted to do. Still loved music. Music was his thing forever. That's awesome. Because I say that because people will tell you sometimes, yo, you're getting old. How about this music thing? You got to give it up. But if you love it, you don't give it up.
And that's the thing is the music industry itself it carries such a burden with it to make it and to be so successful. But the thing for me is that I take it as a point of true artistry in the sense that I just enjoy it for everything that I'm invited to, that I find myself in. I just really try to make the most out of the opportunity because at the end of the day, it's not a revenue stream for me, but it is art.
Mm-hmm.
And that supersedes just being a hobby.
Yeah. It's an expression, and what you create gravitates to the person you are and who you are. And it lets people in a little bit to know who you are through your art. And at the end of the day, there's no amount of money, amount of value, amount of anything. Obviously, money talks, but when it's done with love and passion and sweat and tears, it supersedes a lot.
It's worth its weight in gold, and that's why for me, like I said, in terms of being a dabbler, I put everything I can into it for every opportunity that's there. Shout out Hope the Rapper. He had reached out to me originally because he had heard the song, and we always text back and forth, and he hit me. He was like, dude, I want to cover this song. I love it. I wrote a verse for it. I would love if you could sing the actual body of the song. And so we had gone in and we recorded a take for it, and we weren't even really sure what we were going to do with it. We performed it at a couple shows like the Connect Effect. And it was actually one of the last things I ever showed my grandfather.
Yeah.
And
he loved it, huh?
He was in the hospital, man, and he absolutely loved it. And he just looked at me and he was like, you should put this on YouTube, to try and show this to people. And literally within a couple weeks, we had, established our connection, and a couple months after that, we're on the radio, and so
which is cool.
It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Just it felt like I was honoring him in doing that performance, really.
Mm-hmm. So for those who don't know, with New Hampshire Public Radio, it may not seem like a big deal for people, but it is a big deal for people like us. Even though radio, just to be on the radio is an importance, a blessing. Just because, if you guys don't know, New Hampshire Public Radio is a branch from National Public Radio for the whole country. If you guys are a fan of YouTube series, Tiny Desk is owned by NPR, National Public Radio. Just want to let you guys know that, if you didn't know. So it's important because, it's just another step to, where you want to be or where you want to go, what you believe in, and opportunities that come with it. So, we make this a big deal with New Hampshire Public Radio because of what they are, what they represent, and also what they're associated with in a bigger picture. So it's one of those things where you got to be proud of it.
Yeah, and I absolutely love talking about it. And like one thing that like I told you that day that we were there, but I stayed up over 30 hours that day to make that happen.
Yeah, you were like the last few days beforehand. You were like, all right, because I was like, yo, you guys are good. We're rehearsing this, that, and the third. But yeah, you had it down packed, man.
I mean, it was crazy. I work overnights right now, and so I'd gotten up at 2:00 the day before this. Got together with Brad De Palma, who absolutely incredible, absolutely shredded. I mean, he was so on the money.
Last minute too.
Yeah, dude, literally being able to do what he did in a few days like blew my mind, and I was so grateful that he, even answered.
Shout out to Brad. Yeah. Brad, shout out to you. I got to get you on, man. We definitely got to connect on that and get you an episode. Let people see who you are, but. Yeah, incredible. That right there to me was like holy, like when this is an example of you stay ready so you don't got to get ready. And that's what that was.
And that's exactly. And, even going on, working through the entire night, going home, getting out of work at 6:30 in the morning, getting ready, driving up to Concord, and then we were up there for 3 hours?
3 hours, yeah, 3 hours.
And, got lunch, and then I drove back. I packed, and we stayed in Boston for a night, and then we flew out to Texas the next day.
Yeah, Austin, I remember. You had a busy week that week, man.
But, that's just speaking to the power of, like, if you want to make it happen, and we all have the same time, and how we use it is sometimes unhealthier than others. I don't recommend staying up for 30 hours at a given time frame, but
you left on a high note though, man.
And that was exactly it.
Yeah.
But like I said, that was a really, really cool thing for me to be able to, kind of pay homage to the big guy himself.
Yeah, man. You had the was it the cane?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the cane, boy. The cane. It was fly as hell. I was like, okay. If y'all haven't seen the video, check it out. We'll share it on this post here when we post the video, this episode up. But that king was fly as hell.
Dude, he's had it. I don't even know how long. I helped him clean out a storage facility like probably 6 or 7 years ago, and I found him in there, and I was like, dude, what's this? And he was like super like secret. And he was like, oh, give me those. And then they kind of popped up a couple years later. And he'd been like, oh, like, when I go, you can have those. And that was kind of like one of those bittersweet things where it's like, oh, like cool stuff. But like, obviously that
it's sentimental. Yeah.
A set of circumstances behind it. But yeah, man, it was all about the details. And I mean, I carry his ashes with me too. That's what's in the necklace here. But like I said, it's just about pouring time into what you love and what matters in any capacity that you can.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's very important. Very important. So other than music, man, now that we talked about music, let me get to this point. This question, just to kind of start it off, because I know we have a lot more to talk about, but Christian Moreno, to the audience that doesn't know who you are you? What do you do? And tell them about yourself.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Christian Moreno, and I am a many man. I am a man of many hats. I am a clother. I am a food connoisseur, and I am a lover of all things music. I call myself a dabbler in the sense that, I kind of do a couple of different things, but there are three things that I'm extremely locked in and focused on with, a deep background on. So one of them, like I said, is clothing. A little over a year ago, I actually started a clothing brand called Szn2. It's spelled SE4 SONAL. And for those of you that are curious, the URL is the same .com.
Fire clothing, by the way. It's dope. It's different. It's dope. It's fire. You guys got to check it out.
It's something that I spent 8 months just laying a conceptual basis for before I even started drafting graphics. I spent a lot of my early working years in clothing retail in a specialty signature store where I was learning about different high-end fabrics and, manufacturing styles. And, later on, even learning about the different inherent qualities of fibers and, moisture wicking versus, fire repellent versus XYZ. And so that's something very thoughtful that I lay into the way that my clothes are made and how I source things. Even taking into account like ethics and sustainability. So the shorts I'm wearing right now, you guys can't see them in the frame here, but they're a French terry cloth. So ventilated for super hot summer days, obviously to help there. But outside of that, the materials are GOTS certified, which is a global certification standard for being sustainably farmed and, ethically harvested and processed. So that's, like I said, a big part is the ethics and sustainability and the sourcing. All my stuff is either sourced or farmed in the U.S., and all of it is decorated locally here in New Hampshire. That's a big cornerstone of the brand, that being artistry, ethics, and community.
Okay. Well, he's not playing around.
Yeah,
he really wanted to make a statement and make sure that the brand is what he's about and it represents him. So check it out, Szn2. It's fire. It's there's a couple of people that was wearing it, but they're fire. You just have to show them the shirts and all that. So send me some pictures. I'll put it in the episode. Yeah. We'll have them check it out.
Definitely. I also have a pop-up coming at the Pheasant Lane Mall, August 24th.
Okay.
We're going to be running that from 1 to 6 p.m. My uncle actually...
Let them know. Don't tell me. Let them know.
My uncle has a very nice streetwear boutique at the Pheasant Lane Mall, 310 DW Highway. It's called Mercado. He recently rebranded, and he's just taking it in a completely different direction than what he was before and really kind of making... it his own, and he's allowed me the space to showcase some of what I got going on as well here.
Fire.
So August 24th,
pop-up shop, Szn2, Pheasant Lane Mall. You gotta make that a whole thing, online events, all that.
Dude, it's all in the works.
All right, cool.
I have a graphic.
Send me a little flyer for that. Send me a flyer, and then we'll post it up and stuff and show love for sure.
Definitely.
If you want to get a little interview there too, we'll do a little something going on there with you and your uncle and just talk shop. I know we're talking shop now, but talk more about the brand and stuff.
Definitely, bro.
If you want, if there's time for it. But anyway, all right. So Szn2, and you do music. We did New Hampshire Public Radio. So going back to your music, how did you start? Where did you start? What kind of influenced you? I know your grandfather influenced you.
Yeah.
But your sound and the voice you got, bro. It's all the above. We want to know all of it.
Yeah, so I mean, it goes way back. I mean, even just genetically, my both sides of my family are extremely musical. I have endless uncles and cousins, etc. that DJ shows from here to North Carolina. But for me, where it really started personally was I was 8 years old. Right. And I went to school locally here in Nashua at Ledge Street, and they had a program where you could start band a year early. So at 8 years old, I learned how to play the clarinet. And by the time I was in high school, I had picked up the tuba and the trumpet as well. So I played 3 instruments before I was in high school. Read both treble and, bass clef. And it just kind of, it snowballed from there, as I got into music, and I learned how to use my voice like an instrument. And so that's why, I kind of do some weird stuff with the way that I throw my voice, or, people talk about like a head voice or a chest voice, and I kind of tend to fall somewhere in between. And that was all just from trying to learn how to make different sounds, with my voice. And it wasn't until my senior year of high school where I actually joined the choral department. I had been kind of putting up like videos and stuff at the time, and, some of the people from the department, namely an old friend of mine, Bailey Gleason, went to the choral director at the time, Brianne Byestoff, and said, hey, we need him, we want him, please. And I was in the automotive program at the time, so I'd like transitioned out of that, and I was in select choir, the general chorus, and I was in the a cappella group. And that was really, really cool. We actually ended up doing a trip to Montreal.
Okay.
So we ended up performing in the Basilica of Notre Dame, which is a scaled replica of the actual Cathedral of Notre Dame.
Oh, shit.
Additionally, cool small detail, I got to play I want to say it's the 3rd or 4th largest organ in the world, which is housed in that basilica.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, bro. That's incredible.
Yeah, we got to perform in a jazz club out there. Like, it was an absolute blast. And the one thing that was kind of tough at that time, and it's something I've been kind of battling ever since, was, there was the band director, Miss Olson there, and as I said, the choral director, and I was kind of all over the place. I've always been a bit of a dabbler, like summertime going into senior year, I worked 3 jobs, wrestled, I did this, I did that. I was super involved with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Nashua. Shout out everybody over there.
Yes, Boys and Girls Club. Shout out to them.
They provided me an endless amount of opportunities, where I even got to open up a New Hampshire State congressional meeting after an event that I helped them host when I was in high school. I got to travel with them and had an interesting opportunity at one point with a top 15 university for a performing arts program that they ran. Like I said, it goes on and on. But so with those 2 teachers, they approached me at one point because we had an audition for it was like the final concert of the year, and there was a big song that we did, and you had to audition for parts. And they looked at me after I absolutely crushed this audition that I almost practiced not at all for. And they said, do you realize that there are kids that would quite literally kill to have the natural gift that it is you have? You can't do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we think that it is a disservice to you to not lean into this skill that you have.
Mm.
And I'm not going to lie, that screwed me up pretty hard, because I was like, I give everything that I can.
Yeah.
Because for me, I didn't bank on the idea of becoming a famous singer, a celebrity, period. And so that's something that I've always kind of carried, just in terms of like, if I'm going to say that I do it, like I have to do it. So like, that's why when people come to me with opportunities and say, hey, Christian, like, your voice is great, would you want to come do this? I never say no. And it's because it leads to absolutely insane connections and, insane experiences, case in point, us together sitting in this room right now.
Yeah. there's a couple of things you can say no on, especially when it's like, yes, what he's saying. In my experience, just, because my situation is different, like timing, you have to pick and choose, because then you'll get overwhelmed and your brain goes crazy, for me.
Well, so I won't say that I say yes to everything, period, but I will at least meet with and consider everything seriously.
Absolutely.
Not just saying
Yes. Yes.
You know, like there have been guys that have reached out to me and said, hey, like, you know, I saw this performance, or like I heard your voice, like I would love to produce something for you. And I'm always open to it. So I say, you know, send me beats or send me this. And I find it very tough sometimes because like I'll hear it, I'm like, oh, like this isn't bad, but it's like I just don't vibe with it.
Yeah.
So like at the end of the day, if I'm not on that same wavelength, I won't, you know, indulge it or see it through, but I'll at least investigate.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the same time, it's also good to communicate about it too. Like, yeah, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it is. But when you're saying yes, I say yes to a lot of things. That's true in a way where if it is what it is, then absolutely. If you know, yeah, it's probably, this is most likely going to be a waste of time, then you have to reconsider it, right? Because there are a lot of people that will take your time just to take your time for no reason. If that makes sense.
Yeah. You know, they had an idea and they just want to try it out real quick. And I will try most things once.
Yeah.
But I've wasted my time before, and I'm all right with doing it again.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to waste my time for people who aren't serious.
Yes.
That's my thing.
Yes. Well,
if they're not serious, like you have to have some sort of track record. You know, like if you want to start something, random, but there's no resources behind it, and you're just coming up with an idea like what you're saying, I can't do that. Unfortunately, my time is invested in other things, and I can't just commit to it. I wish I could commit to everything, but commitment is real important, especially when it comes to your word. You have to see it through. If you don't see it through, you're not going to be reliable. So yes, there's opportunities out there that are great opportunities. 9 times out of 10, it's a great opportunity for you to scale a little bit more, connect with people a little bit more. There are opportunities that it's just an idea and they just want to use your platform to start off to get somewhere, and you can't see it through because unfortunately it is what it is. You put your time in sweat, like blood, sweat, and tears to it, and you gotta reconsider it, unfortunately.
Well,
but
it's one of those things where unstretched hands don't get filled, but if you fill every set of cupped hands you see, eventually you will have not much to very little. Mm-hmm. And so that's why
it's great point.
Like I'm happy to help people. Like there have been times where, it was just an idea, but I'm happy to workshop something. Mm-hmm. Right. And so, but that's also about just, realistic expectations and communication. That's kind of the thing there, but somebody that will overhype something, and like you said, it's all for an idea. You're the first guy they're talking to, but they have this whole grand plan set up.
Yeah, that's
done that,
yeah,
not the t-shirt.
Exactly. It's just too much, But at the same time, if there's somebody that you can refer to that they can probably, you always make the puzzle pieces, right? You have somebody you see and they're into this, and then another person reaches out to you in a week or two. They're like, oh man, I'm looking for somebody who's into the same thing that the other person just talked to you about 2 weeks ago was. Yep. You can make that connection and boom, and let them talk and back away.
Exactly.
And that's the least you can do as far as, trying to point them to the right direction. I try not to say, nah, I'm good with it, and just blow them off. If I can make the connection and referral, I'll do it because it may benefit both of them, and just, this is Christian, this is Jonathan. You got, hey, this guy's doing this guy's doing that. Maybe y'all can work something out, hopefully, and boom, back away and see how it goes from there. You already did your point, your job, and move on.
Exactly.
So it's always good. It's good what you're saying. And look how we connected. And your name has been mentioned to me a lot by Bernie. When Bernie was up here, shout out to Bernie,
dude. Shout out Bernie, my boy.
Shout out to Bernie. Yeah, your name has been mentioned to me a lot. I was like, nah, I don't know. He's like, you don't know him? Like, nah, I don't know him, bro. I don't go out at the time.
Either. That's the problem.
And we crossed paths, and I think I saw you the first time. M&N Sports, I think it was.
Yeah.
We were going through that. Anyway, shout out to M&N Sports, Mikey over there and his brother. Where were we at? we're just talking about the opportunities and stuff, right? And influence.
We've been talking about influence, background, but like I said, I'd kind of gone on and like I did and didn't do stuff with music on and off for years. I recorded and released 2 tracks. At the Thought of You.
Thought of me? Oh shit.
Yeah, brother. Yeah. Was the first one.
Damn.
Was the first one I
No
ever
Diddy.
released.
I'll play. I'll keep interrupting you. My bad. I was just joking.
Dude, it's all right. It's all right. Honestly, it's always that's always like the joke with it. It's like at the thought of you, like at the thought of me, bro. You're so sweet. But yeah, and then I had another one all summer long, and I wrote those for my girl. Just like she is incredible in everything she does. She's my muse for a lot of things.
Behind a great man's a stronger woman, man.
Bro, she's built different, dude. She is as headstrong as she is capable, as she is formidable. Love you, Katsiri.
Message.
Yeah. You are the light of my life.
So are you doing anything coming up? Any new projects coming up with music? Do you have anything planned in the upcoming months, next year?
Yeah. So I have a project I'm working on now with a buddy of mine, Dante. He's worked on establishing a collective of artists for all things production, sounding board, and even promotion. So there's a project that he's been putting together that we're going to be working on a track for, and that one I believe is TBD on the release. Just a matter of kind of wrangling everyone in for that project, but that's the biggest thing that I have going right now for music for myself that I'm involved in. Outside of that, I'm always writing, of course, the man of many notepads, but I just haven't gotten into to record some stuff lately. Shout out Good Bars, who's the last session I had here, and he's a true professional.
That's my guy.
That man is a master of his craft, without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's where I recorded the Colors track with Hope, and I recorded a couple rough takes for some other stuff too. I need to get back to. Please, I need to come see you soon, buddy.
Toy Box Studio, shout out to them.
Yeah.
The Four Shits Podcast, shout out to them. Yeah, man. Good Bars is good people, man. All he does is inspire other artists to do what they want to do.
Uplift and arm them with information.
Absolutely.
I was in his studio for no less than 20 minutes with George, and I had a whole new perspective on how to handle artistry and how people that make their living off of the music industry, it's not the mainstream that everybody dreams it as, but it is as equally fulfilling, and I don't know of anybody that knows about it, speaks to it, or believes in it as heavily as Good Bars.
Oh, he showed me so much. He showed me so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Good Bars, bro. Good people.
Yeah.
He doesn't gatekeep, bro. He's just like me. Knowledge is meant to be shared, man. And that's a beautiful thing. It's up to the person who's receiving the knowledge how they want to go about it, if they want to execute it, or whatever they want to do with it, or use it to their benefit, or just ignore it. But he doesn't gatekeep the knowledge. He tells people what it is if they're interested in it, and you got to respect that. You know what I mean?
All day. That's what his content's all about.
Yeah, for sure. So any new designs coming up with seasonal?
Yeah, so there's actually an extremely cool capsule collection that we're working on right now with Dan of Dan's Balloons. He is a balloon sculptor from Nashua that does the craziest art displays I've ever seen in my entire life.
Okay.
Like, you hear balloon sculpting, and you think like a clown, like making balloon animals.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So much more than that. Like, this man conveys emotion and decay through balloons. And I met him a couple of years ago at a show. My aunt and uncle that run and co-founded Positive Street Art housed him for his first exhibition that he ever did. And this guy came in and just blew everybody away. I mean, he had a multifaceted approach to this show where he had kind of the mood set by a playlist, and then he had a passage next to each of these sculptures. And so one of them, for example, it's do you remember like the white and gold or the black and blue dress that was viral years ago? Like, what color is this dress? So he made the white and gold dress, and he put it on a mannequin, and over the course of the 4 days, the balloons inevitably deflate. Mm-hmm. Right. And so the passage that was alongside this, and I'm going to paraphrase, Dan, forgive me if I absolutely butcher this, but this is the way that I interpreted it. And, you know, it was really deep regardless, but it essentially had to do with the way that people chase the idea of who they used to be. And how, as much as you might try to go backwards and be who you were when you were at a certain point, you're moving forward whether or not you realize that. So the more you look back to gauge how close you're getting to going backwards, the farther away you feel because you're still moving forward. And, you know, the
it's like going on the wrong way in an escalator.
You know, exactly. And the whole premise there was the dress size. You know, oh, I want to be a size 2 again. I want to be a size 4 again. And so that was like the superficial significance of it, you know, in as few words, but he just builds such a deep meaning into his shows. And so, you know, we've kind of kept in touch over the last couple of years. You know, he participated in the runway show that we did hosted by Positive Street Art back in January. The Obscure Fashion Show, and he started the whole thing off with a bang by having 2 wearable dresses made out of balloons.
That's crazy.
Dude, it was absolutely insane. Like, watching him work on these and twist these and, like, seeing people, like, actually wearing them was nuts. And so we had gotten together a couple weeks ago, and he had let me know that, you know, he was working on a new show that, you know, we're hoping to bring to everybody later this year in the fall, and I'll leave it to him to eventually promo it. But there was an element involving the 4 seasons that directly spoke to my brand, that, you know, that is the cornerstone for all of the design work behind it. Mm-hmm. And so that's a big thing that we're planning right now with the clothing. Stay tuned as we have some, you know, promotional capsules and stuff coming up. I will let you know now, it involves a life-size animated squirrel made out of balloons doing hilarious things in very familiar places.
Let me ask you, why the squirrel?
So this is what took me 8 months, right? And it's huge and roundabout. So I wanted to have a brand that tied to New Hampshire and tied to New England, but wasn't like Granite State this or New Hampshire that.
Oh man, Mountain this.
Yes, exactly. And so it hit me during I had paid a buddy of mine, Josh Roberts, to do a photo shoot for my girl and I a couple of years ago up in the White Mountains along the Kangamangas. And while we're out and about, there's busloads of people, dude, coming from all over the world for foliage season in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. And I kind of processed that, and it was like people come here for the change in seasons. And so that's kind of where seasonal was born, because that was the significance to the area. The squirrel itself came from the fact of a few things. A, it is one of the most highly recognizable animals on the planet that occupies over 70% of land amassed coverage.
Bro, you went deep with this.
Dude, I did. Squirrel facts. You weren't ready for this. Squirrel facts.
Was not.
Dude, over 70%.
Because I'm ready to get rid of these squirrels that's taking cushions out of my deck.
Dude, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. But as I said, they're one of the most highly recognizable creatures on the planet because almost 3/4 of it is covered in them. In addition to that, they are the animal that best represents the changes in those seasons. So you see their fur color change, get thinner, thicker, they hibernate, they get big, and that is something that I found extremely relatable. And so the seasonal squirrel was.
You do see them all season. You do see them all season long though. Like they hibernate, but like doesn't matter what season it is. You seeing a squirrel. Doesn't matter if it's cold as shit or not. Like
yeah, man, it's absolutely crazy. And I was in San Francisco and I saw them. And I was in Texas and I saw them. Like you see them
everywhere.
Freaking everywhere, man. And so that's where that came from. In addition to
good way to looking at that.
In addition to that, I, as early as 14, used to sketch it. For those of you that don't remember Secret Spot, so for those of you that watch this and remember Secret Spot, that was my sign. Secret Spot was a magical place before the Broad Street Parkway.
Okay.
And it was up along the train tracks. And if you walked there was a huge lot that was empty. And people used to skateboard there. Like they'd build bags of cement and like chicken wire and make their own ramps.
Okay.
They'd drag couches out there. Like that, like typical hangout spot where all the skater punks hang out. Like that was Secret Spot in Nashua.
Okay.
And when they built the Broad Street Parkway, they inevitably tore that down. The rumor was it was owned by like Eastern Border or something like that, and their plan was to build a skate park, and they just never did it. So it was just this big empty lot that people used to just go to and just skate and paint and whatever, man. So
do vandalism things.
So the squirrel was my thing. It's
a good way of putting it like that. Thank you for explaining it. I was always curious about it because seeing the designs you made. Like, why the squirrel? Because if I seen a squirrel on a t-shirt, I don't even remember if I seen a squirrel on a t-shirt, to be honest. Like, because the squirrel is like the most common thing in this world.
Exactly, and it's subliminal. And ironically, there is not a major company on the planet that has it for their...
I know LRG has a tree.
Yeah, but like, period. There is not a brand on the planet that uses the squirrel for their image.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy.
I
good for you, man.
I found a gap, dude.
You use that to your advantage, man. The most common thing, people don't think like that. Like a squirrel is the most, massed. What is it? Massed.
It's one of the
produced
most
in this world.
Recognizable
That's crazy.
On this planet.
Motherfucking squirrel next to my house. I want to kill that motherfucker. I love animals. Don't get me wrong, but these squirrels are just savages.
Oh, dude, they're so wild. I don't know what's worse, them or the seagulls.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Now that's something that would get people talking. A brand all about seagulls.
Yeah. White seagulls. Crazy. So you say you're a food connoisseur, right?
Yeah.
Is that what the word is? Connoisseur?
Connoisseur. Yes,
Connoisseur. It says a connoisseur. It said connoisseur. Excuse me, Sunday. Tell me a little bit about some of your favorite foods that you've tried. I know you traveled a little bit, so give me some of the 411 on that.
Dude, that is all right. Some of my favorites. I'm a sucker for sushi. Korean food is also up there big time. And then obviously Puerto Rican food's always going to hold a special place in my heart.
Of course. Boricua. Why we always gotta say wepa after we say boricua? That's like rice and beans right there. Boricua, wepa.
I tried not to.
It's so funny. It's just right. Yeah, it just has to. It has to happen.
It's instinctual.
Shout out to my Ricans.
Oh man. So I was saying before how I'd worked in clothing. The other part of my kind of prior professional experience and sales and business and stuff was working in the food industry.
Okay.
So I worked in pizza shops, cafes. I worked in a Korean restaurant for a summer. Shout out Soul Kitchen in Westford. Jay Chung, you are the man and a madman, because I'm thankful I live 20 minutes away from you, or you'd have all my money. But yeah, man. So I, even going back to working in some of these food restaurants, I have always been like a quick eater. I always kind of ate a lot, big boy, it's a lifestyle. And I would always make these bets with my bosses where they'd be like, I bet you can't eat all that. you know, like as an employee, you get like a discounted meal, and they'd be like, if you can eat all of that in 20 minutes, it's free. It's yours. Dude, at one point I was eating a 34-inch sub at least once a week for free. Dude, it was sick.
That's crazy.
Dude, it was sick.
I did that at work one time at AT&T. I'm not proud of it, bro, but I ate like 9 Whoppers.
Attaboy, dude.
It was rough.
Dude, I'm sure.
It was rough. I was young, stupid, and like broke. My manager's like, if you can eat 9 Whoppers, something crazy like that. I can't believe I'm sharing this, but whatever. You mentioned that, and that memory just came back up. Yeah, and yeah. I was sick for like a week.
Dude, that's the thing is I did this more than once.
Oh, no, I did.
Dude, I worked at that place for like 8 months.
Wow.
Oh man. But yeah, so I mean, I've traveled around like some great food spots. I did Austin back in like April, May. Shout out Terry Black's barbecue because that stuff is crazy.
Is that what you sent me the picture?
Yo, yeah, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy. Spent $120 on some of the best barbecue I've ever eaten in my whole life.
Worth it.
Worth every penny, dude. Every penny. San Francisco, great food out there too. I mean, it was just such a mix. I mean, it's hard to really say. They did have those the cool, they're like the fish, like waffle cone things full of ice cream. They had those, sushi burritos. I mean, they had a bunch of good stuff out there too. But my favorite was I did Mexico for a week, and I ate octopus tacos for breakfast every day for like 5 days.
Octopus tacos.
Dude.
I'm not a stranger to octopus.
Dude.
But I've never had octopus tacos before.
Crazy, dude.
Octopus, just straight octopus, nothing else.
Grilled octopus with all the fixings, bro.
That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. People are probably like, but don't knock it till you try it, man. Because
grilled octopus.
Octopus is the shit.
Facts. That seafood is definitely like a favorite of mine, which it kind of has to be considering I'm in the 35th annual New Hampshire seafood.
Yeah, tell them about that.
Seafood festival. So for the last couple of years, the New Hampshire Seafood Festival has had a lobster roll eating competition. And I managed to claim the 8th slot on the panel. Personally, it's a fever dream. Traditionally, Governor Szn2 is the master of ceremonies. So the way that I look at this now is I get to be commended by the governor, sit at a table of like-minded individuals, and eat as many lobster rolls as I can possibly stomach in front of a crowd cheering me on for free.
He put that out there for free. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for free.
All I'm saying
How
is,
big are the lobster rolls? It's just like regular hot dog buns?
Dude, looking at, yeah, just regular hot dog buns. I will say if the guy that won, it was either last year or the year before, is back, I'm going to try my hardest to beat you. You're
not going to have to eat for like 4 days.
Dude, if I even come close to this guy, he almost tripled the freaking record. Like I said, it was either last year or the year before. I think the record was like 28, and it's like they give you like
lobster
20
rolls?
minutes. Yeah.
That sounds like it's doable.
20 minutes. Yeah, see, that sounds doable. But then this guy almost tripled it.
Wow.
It was like 63 lobster rolls.
Wow.
63. Dude, if you're back, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. Yeah. You make sure you drink up with Gante, bro, before and like empty all that shit out.
Yo, I have been studying Joey Chestnut. I've been watching interviews to see how he does what he does, and I'm going to put it to the test. I'm going to put it to the test.
Where is this at?
It is September 28th on the Hampton Beach Boardwalk during the New Hampshire Seafood Festival.
September 28th. I'm going to have to go down there. They got to have gluten-free rolls, so need that.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, a lot of side stuff going on. we have the pop-up coming in 2 weeks, Seafood Festival on the 8th.
That's great.
And then in a couple months, we'll have hopefully a really cool pop-up set up for everybody to enjoy. Dan is absolutely incredible, and being able to collaborate with him in any capacity is a blessing. And as always, more music as we get it, like I said, for me, the music is something that I indulge in and, say yes where it's really applicable. And just about a year ago now, a little over that, I ended up meeting a group of guys that are all retired. I'm the youngest one by probably at least 35 years. But these guys have been playing music for 30, 40, 50 years apiece, and we just get together probably once a month, once every other month, and just jam out for like 3 hours. So maybe one of these days we'll share a session with Mike and the boys.
Yes, absolutely. We'll love that for sure. We'll love that for sure, because I definitely want to do some live music in future episodes. Live, like, people playing, performing, and all that. That's going to be in the works. Future episodes, maybe future seasons. Some logistical issues need to happen before we can do all that, but hopefully soon, very soon. So let's talk New Hampshire Public Radio for a second. I know we talked about we touched into it this earlier in the podcast.
Yeah.
Since you've done that, and you showcase that to people, what has been the feedback towards it?
So, I mean, the only real feedback was just about how the actual YouTube posting, the video was a little quiet.
Yeah.
But outside of that, everyone that was, listening in and watched it had nothing but, positive energy towards it.
Received well.
Yeah. Oh, it was received super well. Some people laughed at the cane, which
the cane was crazy.
Dude, it was such a subtle flex.
You need to do some professional photo shoots with the cane shit. Just like that.
I got
go to Puerto Rico or something with a photographer and head that out. You know what I mean?
Bro, I got a suit already for it.
There you go.
It's ivory linen.
Yante.
They're not ready for that though.
So it was received well. So we have mutual friends, by the way. Some of your friends are family members of my wife, and they talked about it as in my household, and said the same thing. They received it well. Like, Christian's amazing. Like, he is such a vocal. You know what? Before I continue, shout out to Hope too, because Hope killed that.
Yeah,
Hope killed that.
Absolutely killed that.
Yeah, shout out to Hope with that, because he did kill that, and he did a couple more songs as well. And it's not easy to do it right on the spot, but he killed it. We did a couple takes, but he did. Shout out to Hope. He's always a man of his word. He's committed. Really, really consistent with everything he does, and he's gonna do big things in the future if he keeps pushing it.
I want to segue off of that, because obviously none of this would have happened for me anyways without Hope. We met a couple years ago through a mutual friend of ours. We were hanging out at the house, and I had seen some of the stuff he had been posting at the time, and just kind of shared hey, I also sing. So I showed him my stuff, and we both became fanatical in terms of supporting each other. And, we talked for a couple of years about let's do something. And he is just such a wealth of positivity, because just to that same sentiment as Good Bars, he's all about lifting up the people that are around him that are on the same type of time.
That's the type of people I want to work with.
All day. Somebody that he's constantly thinking about not what he wish he could do or what would be nice, but what are the attainable things that he can do, connections he can make, places he can be to move the needle even this much forward.
And most importantly, he asks questions. He's not afraid to.
Always.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to him. You're 100% right with that. Those are the people I want to work with. You're like that too. We're like-minded. Those are the people that you have to be surrounded with or work with, because you keep working with people that are going to drag you down. Eventually, we're all human, and you're going to get to a point where you're going to ask yourself, what the hell are you doing? But when you get working with people that are in the same wavelength, right? Length, same thing. Anyway, within the same wavelength, it's only up from there, because you guys, you're building each other up. Hope being an artist, you being an artist, me being a resource, and Brad being like, a guitar player, acoustic guitar, right?
He primarily plays electric. He did acoustic just for
okay,
us.
primarily. So,
He's
but
just that great of a guy.
And just coming together, bro, in last minute and creating greatness, just like that. Like, that's what it's all about, because that's how magic happens at the end of the day. So, if you're somebody that wants to be a part of this, industry, or as far as like entertainment's concerned, or just something that you want to be a part of, doesn't have to be a rapper, doesn't have to be an artist. You can be a producer. You can be a bunch of things. Surround yourself with people that are like-minded, and don't surround yourself with people that are negative, because negative people will drag you down, and they'll make you question yourself and doubt yourself, or to a point where you're just going to give up.
You are better off working your craft privately than giving your time to people that don't value it and see it as having the same value as it does. You are better off strictly just being the best that you can be, whether it's to share with others or not, than ever giving your time to people that don't see its value.
100%. That's it. Might drop from there, and when you realize that, and it may take you time, because you love some of these people that you feel is your friends or family or whatever, and you love them, and you don't see them for who they are, but it'll take you time for you to see them for who they are, and realize that, they didn't want the best for you. They wanted the best for them. And if at that point, if that's what it is, you just got to move on, man. Life is too short for you to dwell on people who don't want you to succeed. And that's facts.
Actions speak louder than words, and you're going to have people that will say that they are on the same wavelength as you, but the way that they move is going to very much let you know. And, you need to remember, fool me once.
Shame on me. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Shame on me.
Precisely.
Or if you're Bush, fool me, you can't get fooled again. Anything else you want to say before we close it off, bro?
I appreciate the time for, being able to come out here and just kind of share a bit of my story here, and, move the needle a little bit further for you as well.
Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely.
I hope that this episode gets a ton of love.
And likewise, man.
Show love to the previous episodes. This is episode 16.
16 season 2, yeah.
He's got, a whole other season plus 15 more just in this one alone. So tune in, check out the previous episodes. He has some heavy hitters on all of them. So check it out, guys. Thanks again.
I appreciate you coming by and really, coming through, just sharing your story. I'm grateful for all the guests that came through and have shared their stories. Like, without them, this can't be possible. And it's just, it's just a chance to just really share your voice. You never know what people are going through, and that's why I do it. Because there's recordings that I've done that I haven't released yet, where people automatically share, they're passionate, they share the emotion, and that's what it's all about. It's like therapy. So shout out to the guests. Check out those previous episodes. They have some great stories over there. Shout out to you, Christian Moreno, for coming through. You have a great story, and I know that you're going to be doing big things in the future. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep being you. I appreciate you. Obviously, we're going to be working more and more and more in the future as well. I just want to mention September 14th, Multicultural Festival. I will be stage managing for that here at Nashville Library at the parking lot from 11 to 4. Come through. We're going to be showing love to all the cultures. There's going to be different performances from all the cultures. So if you can come through, it's a festival. It's a free festival. All you have to do is just show up, enjoy yourself, get to know people, enjoy the foods, because there's going to be different foods from different cultures. So I would really love to see everybody there. September 14th is the Multicultural, again, at the Nashville Library parking lot. If it's going to be raining, it'll be inside, but we're still going to have it. So, hope to see y'all there. Thank you again. This is Flow Talk. Season 2, episode 16. And that's out.